I believe. Yeah. All right. Let me just retweet it over on my account real quick. Make sure we sound good.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. All right. I believe we are all live. Welcome to all those viewing. Not sure if there is any at the time, but Ethan, welcome. Another week of Saturday college football or college basketball. Wow, huge slate as always. A little overwhelming, but I think it's best that we kind of just go through this board together, and that at least makes me feel a little less overwhelmed and a little less or a little more confident. I know it didn't work perfectly for us last week, but yeah, this is a new week, and I already have the one play locked in. I have a couple others I'm eyeing. There is a profit boost on that UConn Marquette game that I'm going to take, so I'm going to have at least a bet in that game. It also is Michigan State Day. Not like that really matters for Michigan because they're dog shit, but yeah, pretty big game today for State. So, Ethan, welcome. How you doing? How was your week? Are you excited for college basketball today? And is State going to sweep for the first time in a long time?
Well, yeah, I couldn't help but notice you said the college football. I'm sure you're probably looking at that matchup, wishing it was college football. It is not. It's my chance to shine. So yeah, hopefully we can go for the sweep. They need it. I think Penn State was a must-win, got the job done. Tonight is a must-win. Next two are must-wins at home against Iowa and Ohio State, two teams they should be able to handle at home before heading on the road and playing Purdue. So yeah, I don't know if I'll have any action in that game, but State needs it. I think they get it done. We'll see, though. On the road, it's never easy to win on the road in the Big Ten, especially against your rival school. So I wouldn't be shocked if Michigan pulls it out, but we will see. Yeah, I have two games locked so far that we'll get into. A lot of leans on the board. Like you said, didn't really work out so well last week when we just fired from the hip at basically everything that caught our eye and that we didn't disagree on. So I'm going to tone it back today, try to only have a few plays. But, yeah, looking forward to another great Saturday of college basketball.
Yeah, I think the important part, like you said, is just not to just fire away at everything. I don't even know how many games. It's probably close to 100 games today in college basketball. I'm trying, at least for me. I know there's a lot of people say that there is money to be made in like the group of five teams and the mid majors, and I just can't find a way to bet those on a Saturday slate full of these. So I'm going to try my best. I'm not going to say there's any guarantees. I'm not going to bet some of them. I'm going to try my best to stay away from the mid majors. So I apologize to anyone on here that's looking for some mid major plays when we have, three top 10 or three ranked matchups, one top five matchup, and then a multiple different Power Five teams facing off. There's just too much games that I know more about that I want to bet and use my money, as opposed to games where I'm solely basing it on betting splits. And that could be a profitable strategy. It's not where I'm going to be comfortable on a Saturday. So if you do have comment or questions or comments about some of those mid-major games, please ask them. I'll do my best to help navigate them. I have tweeted out my leans. I tweet out leans. Try to do it every single day. For every conference, every team, doesn't matter the size or whatnot. So I do have some leans in the mid majors, but for the most part, I'm sticking to the Power Five. So without further ado, it looks like I am. Oh, there we go. My computer is like in 1920, so I apologize if there's a little lag here. Yeah, do you have any game to start off? I guess we'll just start by the time slot. Is there anyone at the noon slate that's eyeing you right now?
Yeah, well, first, I'm just going to quick piggyback on what you just said. Yeah, I feel like it's very difficult to dive into every single game in college basketball. It just gets so I don't know, repetitive, and yeah, some of these mid-major and group of five teams that you just don't get to watch so often. I just find it difficult. So for me personally, I basically only handicap what's really been working for me and kind of just in my wheelhouse. So I don't even handicap the Pac-12 just because of the lack of competition um, outside of Arizona, and I barely even handicap the ACC anymore this year. It just hasn't been great for me. So yeah, I really have really stuck to Big Ten, Big 12, SEC, Big East, and Mountain West is kind of the wheelhouse that I've been in. But yeah, I think it's kind of important just to, narrow it down. You can get so consumed with all these college basketball games. So I guess that's my 2 cents there. Yeah, as far as games go, I mean, you just want to start from the top.
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking start at noon, and then any games that we're eyeing, just kind of keep going down. And we don't have to talk about all of them. And again, if you have comments or questions about a certain game, please let us know. We can go right to that game from wherever we're at, and give you our 2 cents in that one. But I'm seeing there's a couple good games at noon. Personally, my first game's at 12:30 that I have money on, but we can talk about a couple of the noon games. The biggest one I would say is probably Texas Tech, Iowa State. And then there's another solid one in TCU, Kansas State, Texas A&M, Alabama, and then Big Ten one, Penn State, Nebraska. Is there any on there? I personally don't have a lean on any of these. I'm kind of leaning, honestly, TCU on the road at K-State, but I don't love that game. Are any of those noon that have your eye?
Yeah, so I have not played any of the noon games. I have one lean that I'm still looking at, but I'll get into some leans I'm not probably going to be playing. Texas A&M +8 is a lean. I was on Vanderbilt in their last matchup where Vandy ultimately won outright. I thought it was a look-ahead spot for A&M against Bama. So I think they're probably going into this one fully focused. I think 8 is just a touch too many, but it's tough to back a team against Alabama on the road. So I don't think I'll play that. Lean Nebraska. I think it's a good spot for them. I actually like the spot for Texas Tech, but I cannot go against Iowa State at home. And I really can't go against Iowa State anymore. They've burned me so many times. They're immune to the system that we like to play. So Iowa State is kind of on that maybe like do not bet list, if you will. Yeah, not sure about TCU, Kansas State. The one game I do kind of like, and there is a touch of reverse line movement, which is why it is a lean and not a play. I think Virginia takes care of Wake Forest today. Virginia off that loss to Pittsburgh. They do have Vatek on deck, so it is that in-state rivalry game, but they already beat Vatek earlier in the year. Wake Forest off the loss to Duke. Have Pittsburgh on deck, who they lost to already. So I think they could potentially want and what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but in the rematch, the revenge they want against Pitt there. Not that it's necessarily a look-ahead spot, but I just think Virginia is the way better team at home. Obviously, the reverse line movement is not ideal, and the line seems pretty low for Virginia at home, so it's pretty fishy. Wake Forest probably pulls this game out, which is why I'm not betting it. But
Yeah, personally, I wrote down Wake as one of my leans today. I don't think it made it into the tweet just because, again, I was kind of with you. Virginia on a bounce back game. I don't love the spot for Wake, but yeah, that line is definitely a little low. A little surprising. Kempom does have that game. Virginia by 1 point. So Wake might cover, but again, I don't love betting against a team that it's coming off a loss. This is a game they should win at home. I'm just not going to do that. So, fishy line there. So definitely a fishy spot. Could be a potential sharp spot if you wanted to take a Wake. But again, you're going against the revenge factor. And I don't think Vegas puts enough credit into that revenge. So, I kind of was leaning Texas Tech as well. I do know, like you said, Iowa State. Are they like? I know everyone's talking about them right now and talking about them being a possible contender this year. And sure, they're number 10 in the country. A lot of teams are contenders, but they're doing something crazy right now. They're winning on the road. They're winning at home. I don't really want to mess with Iowa State, but and then Texas Tech coming off a 29-point win against Kansas. Weird spot for Texas Tech, but yeah, I think Iowa State gets that done. So I would honestly lean Iowa State. I know that might be a little square, but I think Texas Tech's getting a little overvalued for a huge win at home against Kansas. But again, Kansas struggles in those weird spots and those letdown spots. Kansas also struggles on the road. We have them playing today in a very similar situation, so it's going to be interesting to see what Kansas does. But yeah, I think Iowa State takes care of business. I like fading Alabama, so I agree with A&M there. And that's, I think, about it for the noon. I'd have no lean in that Penn State, Nebraska. I would lean Nebraska at home, but I really don't really believe in Nebraska. I don't think they're that good. And then Penn State's just, yeah, I don't know. Not going to lean that one, but yeah, I like your couple leans there. But yeah, no plays there. I do have a play in the 12:30 if you want to get to that.
Yeah, I actually lied. I was trying to go off memory. I broke down so many games this morning that I just got caught up. I actually do lean Iowa State in that game, not Texas Tech. And when you said the 29-point win against Kansas, that's what kind of made it ding in my head that, yes, I would like to fade Texas Tech off that massive win. And they also have TCU on deck, who they lost to. So I actually would lean Iowa State in that game. But, again, I'm seeing a little bit of reverse line movement in that one. So not going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I might take Iowa State like in a money line, but I'm trying not to parlay anything today. I'm going to stay away from parlays. But if you want to, I think Iowa State on the money line parlay leg would be a decent addition to any parlay. But again, don't recommend parlays, especially in college basketball. But moving on, we got the 12:30 slate. Only a couple. I'm seeing 2 games at 12:30. Love this game, and I've been burned by this team a couple times, and I've been saved by this team a couple times. But I have already placed Butler at the +3 today, hosting what are they, number 17, Creighton. The last I saw, this was at 8 a.m. today. Creighton was getting 75% of the bets on the spread. This line has moved down from 3.5 to 3 in favor of Butler. I love Butler. I think Butler's going to win outright, but I'll take him at the +3 at home. I've already placed it. Like I said, it's my only bet of the day so far. And yeah, I honestly love it, but it's ugly. It's scary, but I do think it's a sharp play. And yeah, Butler's just a different team at home. I also didn't realize their coach is Thad Matta. I didn't realize he's their coach again. He's like, this is his second time being the head coach at Butler, but yeah, I like Butler. I've already placed it. You got anything on that?
I lean Butler. I can't get myself to place it simply because Butler beat Creighton not long ago, earlier this month, 99-98. So it's just kind of one of those games that stuck out as an offensive explosion back and forth by both teams, and Butler edged it by a point. And that just worries me. I think Creighton's been looking at this game. Yeah, and Creighton was kind of rolling. They hadn't lost. They had only lost one time in 2024. It was on the road against first-ranked UConn. So Butler was their second loss of the year. I just feel like that one sticks with them. But yeah, Butler at home. I mean, that line movement you're talking about is interesting. Butler off a loss to Marquette. This is a great opportunity to get kind of a statement win. I mean, sitting at 16-9 right now, 5th in the Big East. This would be a huge victory for them. Their last remaining ranked game on their schedule. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play Creighton, but I just don't know if I personally can get on Butler since they already – I wish Creighton pulled that game out 100-99. I would nuke Butler. But
yeah. To be honest, I didn't even know that they played earlier this year. So, yeah, it doesn't make me like it as much, but at least they've shown the ability that they can beat them. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe a little overconfidence might hurt them, but it also could maybe give them the boost that they need. But yeah, so that's the one bet that I have. I have nothing in that Richmond George Washington game. I think we can pass on that one at the other 12:30 slots. And then we're to the 1 p.m. where we have a couple other great games.
Sorry to cut you off. One more quick thing on that Creighton Butler that I just kind of thought of. Again, I don't really cap totals in college basketball, but I do think taking under 151 is probably a decent play since everyone's going to see this. They've just put up 200 points in their last matchup. Yeah, I bet Creighton shuts it down defensively, trying to just keep Butler under, 70 points, and Butler's going to play at a pace. So kind of like the under, but.
Yeah, I like the thought process there. Again, I haven't had a whole lot of luck in college basketball totals, so I've just stayed away. They're usually my go-to, both in the NBA and college basketball. NBA was hitting like no other, and then NBA has hit a drastic roadblock in the total betting. So yeah, I'm just going back to spreads. That's where I'm comfortable. What I will say, if you do want to bet a college basketball total, Richmond and George Washington. I don't know why these Northern Virginia teams, whenever they play, it's a scoring frenzy. I know Richmond's a pretty defensive team. VCU is pretty defensive. George Mason's pretty defensive. But whenever those couple teams play each other, it's a freaking nuke fest. I don't know why. I think it's like a rivalry thing. So Richmond, George Washington. If you want to take an over, I would take that. I'm not touching it again, but that is a 12:30 game that I was just looking at that and remembering that these schools up here are weird like that. But
I see 67% on the under. Line has moved from 147 to 148.5.
See, I didn't even look at it. I just know like every time Richmond, VCU, Richmond, George Mason, Richmond, George White, like every single time those teams play, I don't know why. It's always competitive and it's always very high scoring. It's weird. But yeah, I do like that reverse line movement. I'm probably not going to play it because there's too many, but don't twist my arm. Yeah. Okay. So 1 p.m. I'm seeing two really good games. Florida and Georgia, and then Houston and Texas. You got anything on any of those?
Probably my strongest lean that I have not currently bet, Georgia plus the 4. Florida off back-to-back wins, one of which was over Auburn. Kind of dismantled them, beat them by 16. Now they have Alabama on deck. And Florida already took Georgia to overtime and beat them in OT late January. So I think Georgia at home off the OT loss. That was actually their first of 5 straight losses. They have not won since that Florida OT beat. And they have Vanderbilt on deck. So no look-ahead spot for Georgia. I think they're focused at home. Florida has a ranked opponent on deck, already beat this team. I'll probably end up on Georgia plus 4.
I like that, actually.
Lean Texas, but don't know if I can get there.
Yeah, I really like the Georgia play now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, I mean, Georgia they started off hot, kind of hit a standstill, like you just said. But yeah, and Florida is, I believe when they beat Auburn, it was at home. Florida plays really good at home, really well at home. But yeah, I think Georgia's going to win it outright. So yeah, I like that game. I'm going to definitely put a big star next to that one. I want to look a little bit at the splits there, but I really like that. And then that Texas Houston game, what's that spread? 10? It's 10.
I think 10.5.
When did these teams first play? Well, didn't it go to OT?
Yeah, Houston beat them by like 4 in OT, I think.
76-72 OT. Oh man. What's the total?
131-ish.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a bet in that game.
I can't.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out. So if you could figure out Texas Houston, let me know. One thing I will say is Texas, they did start off pretty hot, had a not a great season so far, but KenPom still has them at 25. So according to KenPom, they're still a top 25 team, which I think you got to remember, especially if they continue this kind of trajectory where they could be a higher seed in March Madness. Just remember that this team has the ability to be a top 25 team. They just have honestly not played to their level. So again, I'm still high on Texas. I know we were both high on them preseason. Then they've kind of fallen off, but I think Texas could be a sneaky team to make a little bit of a tournament run there. I just think the value is good on Texas, so keep that in mind. I do think Houston wins this game. 10-point spread. I'm not going to touch that. I hate double-digit spreads. So, and if I do a double-digit, it's almost always the underdog. So, I'm probably gonna stay away from that. I'm not seeing anything else at the 1 p.m. that's sticking out to me. It's all mid-majors. Anything for you?
Nope.
Okay, I'm not seeing anything really at the 2 p.m. I'm seeing Virginia Tech, North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't have anything in that game. I do have another play at 2, though.
All
An
right. Oh
official
yeah,
locked in
two.
play.
Okay, yeah, two is a big slate. Let's do it. What do you got?
The play I have locked in, and it's a little bit ugly, but Oklahoma State +6. Seeing once again reverse line movement. This game opened 7.5. I'm seeing 58% on BYU. It's gone all the way down to 6 now. BYU off back-to-back wins against Kansas State and UCF, and they have Baylor on deck. So I think it's a look ahead. They already lost to Baylor previously this year, and then Oklahoma State. They're off the loss to Oklahoma, which is my one fear, that rivalry game. They lost to Houston before that. But they have Cincinnati on deck, a team who they have not played yet this year. So I think they're going to be more focused. I mean, I think they're dead last right now in the Big 12. So no real look ahead. I mean, they're going to have to ring off some wins here to get a better seed in the Big 12 tournament. And then they're probably going to have to win 2-3 games in the Big 12 tournament to even have a shot at the bubble. So I just think it's a big game for them. Don't know if BYU is fully focused with that Baylor game on deck. I think they're probably taking Oklahoma State lightly. So I like Oklahoma State with that reverse line movement.
I haven't even looked at that one, honestly, but I am just barely to look at it now, and I like that quite a bit. Oklahoma State's garbage, and BYU is obviously solid. Again, they are one of those teams that I believe are top 15 in both offense and defense in KenPom, like the definition of a tournament team. And I think they're, to be honest, completely overrated. I know me and you got burned a couple times on BYU this year.
Yep.
I believe they were at home in that. I'm not sure, but I've been burned a couple times on BYU. And no matter who you're playing, if you're traveling to or playing an away game, it's always tough, no matter if it's the worst team in the conference. And yeah, I just don't really love BYU. And I am looking at OK State's home games. They beat their last home game. They beat K-State, who again I like fading. They beat them by 3. They beat West Virginia, who sucks. They lost to TCU by 5, so not terrible. Got murdered by Kansas, so I'm not going to count that. Lost to Baylor in OT by 5. Win. Then early in the season, I'm not going to count, but pretty much, I mean, they're playing every game pretty close at home, and I don't think BYU is better. They're not better than Baylor. I think they're about equivalent to TCU. Yeah, I like that. I like OK State. I'm going to look at it a little further, but I like OK State there. Like that quite a bit, actually. I think West Virginia might be last in the Big 12, but OK State's probably right there, if not last.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I see Oklahoma State's 14th in the Big 12. I can't remember now how many Big 12 teams.
They're probably last.
But yeah, I know West Virginia. I think they only have like 6 wins. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Yeah, 2 p.m. as a solid slate. What else was on that 2 p.m. that I was looking at? I do like Florida Gulf Coast quite a bit, but again, mid-major, I'm not going to get into it. It's just they are, I believe, like 5 or 6 wins less than. Who are they playing again? They're playing Stetson. I'm not going to get into it, but I am a little worried because it is Florida Gulf Coast, and people only know them because of that one tournament run. Yeah, they have 5 less wins than Stetson. Spreads 2.5. It's a little low for me. It goes with my system. It is one of my leans today. Again, I post all my leans on Twitter. Make sure you do check those out. But I would lean Florida Gulf Coast. But again, I don't want to put money on that.
I have one that I'm fearful to even bring up.
Okay.
Because we're probably going to talk ourselves into it. How is Florida State plus 5.5 not the play?
I have Florida State.
How is that not the play?
I have Florida State. Is that at 2?
Yeah.
Is it at 2?
I mean, that line makes 0 sense.
Why could I not see it? Oh, yeah, there it is. Duke at Florida State. Yeah, it's got to be Florida State plus 5.5. No doubt.
It's got to be. Duke has really no look-ahead spot. Florida State, back-to-back losses.
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm going to have money on that. Which means it's going to obviously not hit, but if I don't, they're going to win outright. And I'm going to gonna bang myself up. So I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna do a half unit on that. I'm gonna do a half. It's a must bet. I'm already marking it down half unit on that. I have to. I literally have to. Half unit Florida State just for the system. But yeah, I saw that earlier today. I was like, yeah, that's 100% the play. And again, if once I don't take it, it's going to be the easiest bet of the weekend. But yeah,
Florida
like
State
that.
at 20 if I don't bet it.
Yeah. Yeah, glad. All right, yeah, that 2 p.m. slate. I like that. We do have a 2:15 Big Ten game. Probably the biggest Big Ten game in regards to national coverage. Obviously, me and you are going to defer on that, or disagree on that. But we have Wisconsin at Iowa. I'm seeing Wisconsin is, I believe Wisconsin's a 1.5 point favorite. Do you got anything on that? Any leans? I'm seeing the total is a very high 152.5.
It's got to be Iowa. Got to be Iowa, and I hope for Sparty's sake it is Iowa, because what better way to bring Iowa into the Breslin Center than off a dub against Wisconsin?
That's true. Oh,
it's got to be Iowa.
It's up to a pick 'em on DraftKings. Okay. I mean, that's where I was leaning as well, Iowa. Iowa's also been that weird team where they've gotten, I don't know, the Iowa lines have been weird this year. When they're on the road, they're sometimes a 4 or 5 point favorite, which doesn't make any sense. I know I bet them once when they're a large road favorite and they lost by like 10 outright. Ken Palm's right on these totals. And last year I did like a whole system where I would look at Ken Palm's totals and then like when he went above 5 points up or down from the Vegas line, like I tracked all those, and there was a statistical advantage, at least that I found. But again, I haven't looked at it this year. But he has this total at 158, which is 6 points higher. But again, I'm not going to touch it. I did see that there was reverse line movement on the under in this game. So a majority of the bets obviously were on the over. The line's since gone down. Seeing 152 now is at 152.5. I believe this opened at 154.5. So I'm going to stay away just from that fact. But just a little note, Ken Palm has this game pretty high scoring. But yeah, I like Iowa. I'm not going to bet it, but I like Iowa.
I might bet Iowa.
Okay. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down here.
Nice thing about Iowa is it's like the NBA. You could easily be down 20 at halftime and still have a shot.
Yeah, their 3-point shooting is fun to watch when they get hot. One of the funnest teams. And that's also what makes them such a scary tournament team. Both good and bad. If they're having a great shooting night, they could win everything. If they what's up, Asker? Can you break down Minecraft? I've never played. So I have no idea. What was I going to say? Good thing with Iowa, if they're shooting well, they can beat anyone. If they're shooting terribly, they could lose in the first round. So, Iowa is I don't know. I think they're the definition of a March team, which is it's just fun to watch. But
yeah. Speaking of threes, I just saw earlier this week since the Baylor game. Mid-December, Michigan State is number 1 in the country at 3-point shooting. They're hitting over like 41%.
Well, okay, here's the play then. Who's the best 3-point shooter on the team? Tyson? No.
Probably Jaden Akins. Or, dude,
Akins.
statistically, it's Malik Hall. He just doesn't shoot it that much.
Well, Michigan has one of the worst perimeter defenses, so I say we just pick one Michigan State dude to have like 4 threes, and then we're golden. Or honestly, we called what a 20-point game last
30
point game.
I think.
I mean, Michigan's notorious, especially this year, for allowing the other team's best players to have close to a career high. So, anyways, we'll get into that game coming up. I think that's it for the 2 p.m. I'm not seeing anything else. Going to the 3, unless you have anything else to add. Biggest game of the day by far in the rankings. We have number 4 Marquette at number 1 Connecticut. Again, I have to bet this because there is a 50% boost on DraftKings. Have to bet it. I don't have the bet for that. I will say this game has potential to be one of the sharper plays of the day. I just don't love what the sharps are telling me. This was from about 8:30 this morning. It was saying the play is the under and the play is Marquette, according to the sharp money from my analysis of the betting splits. Did you look at this one at all?
I did.
Do you have a lean?
I was seeing UConn as the sharp side.
Really? Okay. I looked at two different things. I looked at Pickett had, where's my stats at? Yeah, Pickett had 33% of the bets on UConn. Or sorry, this was Action. Action had 33% of the bets on UConn minus 7.5. Since it's gone down to minus 6.5. Well, that makes sense. Never mind. Let me look it up. I'm talking myself off of freaking. I did see, though, 95% of the bets on Action were on the over at 148.5. It's since gone down to 147.5.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm seeing. Yeah, who knows what to trust when it comes to it.
I know. Can we just have? Can sportsbooks make that public knowledge and make it? Like, I want to go on DraftKings. I want to see the money in the bets. I want to go on MG. I want to see the money in the bets, or just have a site take everything into account. And I just don't. All these sites are different, and I have a hard time figuring them out.
Right.
Yeah, Pickett has 58% of the money on Marquette, 47% of the bets, so a slight little edge there, and then 37% of the money on the under, 22% of the bets. That's on Pickett. DraftKings has refused to give up their betting percentages until like 30 minutes before tip off, which pisses me off. So my heart was leaning UConn and the over. That's where I want to bet. I don't trust Marquette.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing, and this is to me the most reliable source that I've been able to find. It is the Wager Talk Live odds screen that I kind of mentioned, and everything just disappeared. So now I have to go off memory. I think Connecticut had 65% of the tickets, 80. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 65% of the tickets, 81% of the money.
On Marquette?
Yeah. On UConn.
Okay.
So I think they're somewhat public and sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
I'm seeing the betting percentages are definitely on. Well, this one has it on Marquette. God, I don't know. And I have to bet this game too. I think the play's the under, to be honest. But I don't know if I want to bet on the under. And I looked last year. These teams played 3 times last year. Marquette won 2 out of the 3, including the last one, which was in the Big East tournament. Marquette knocked off UConn. The first 2 were very high scoring in the 150s. The second one in the Big East tournament was like 72-68 or something in favor of Marquette. I'm so high on Connecticut this year, and I think Connecticut is 100%. Oh, okay. We got a comment over here, over in UConn. That's kind of what my heart's saying. Connect.
I like UConn. No play on the total.
Do we really think Marquette's going to make a tournament run? Like, I can maybe see them making like the Sweet 16. I can't see them in the Final Four. There's not a world that I live in where I can see Marquette in the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're just like similar to Iowa, but better.
Yeah,
but Iowa always fizzles out in the tournament. Always. Even when they had the Murray twins or the brothers, I don't know if they're twins, and Garza and they had some really good 3-point shooters. McCaffrey. I'm trying to think. I think they had another really good 3-point shooter.
Play is the over, he said. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to take the over there. I'm a little worried because I am seeing a little bit of movement of this total going down, despite it being a majority of the bets. So whenever I see that, it's a little bit of a warning. But no, I completely agree. I mean, 2 very high-powered offenses. I Obviously, UConn has a great defense. Marquette's defense is not nearly as good as UConn's, but again, I think this is going to be a high scoring affair here. But yeah, I agree. Again, there is a 50% profit boost on this game on DraftKings, so I kind of have to bet it. Ken Pom again has this game, not like he really matters, but 77-70 in favor of Connecticut.
Under. I'm seeing the over is pretty public. Yeah, I'm seeing 87% of the tickets and the money are on the over.
Yeah, that's always scary to me.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time disagreeing with the over because just out of a basketball understanding of it. But again, the money when the money and the bets are that high, it's usually a red flag for me. But yeah, I don't know. I'll tweet that one out because I 100% will have a play in that. My lean right now is just going to take Connecticut, but
Me too.
I don't know what I'm going to go with. So again, if you want to follow me and Ethan over on Twitter, we will post those plays. Our Twitter usernames are right under our graphic here, our X usernames, whatever it is now. But yeah, I 100% going to have a play in that. I'm leaning Connecticut right now. Probably won't have a play on the total, but that's the thought process at the moment. Again, it is the biggest game of the slate from a rankings perspective, 1 versus 4. I am a little nervous because both these teams play again in I believe beginning of March, so pretty quick turnaround, and they most likely will also play again in the Big East tournament like they did last year. So dropping one game right now, sure, it might have an immediate factor, but in the long term, it really doesn't matter. So go with my first thought. Yeah, I think Connecticut's the play, man. So I'll tweet that out, though, just to double check, but I think Connecticut's the play.
I will say one last thing about this game. If Marquette wins outright, it's disgusting, but DePaul next game up on Wednesday, a smash spot. Absolute smash. They're going to be like plus 20 something at home. Or no, they're on the road. Yeah, it's going to be disgusting. But
Sportsline also has it over DePaint. Connect says. Yeah, I'm probably not going to have a play on the total just because I hate that. But yeah, I have a hard time disagreeing with you. So I would say for you, go with your gut. If you like the over, go with the over. I might go with my gut and just take Connecticut. I'm going to wait a little bit. We have about 4 hours so that tips off just to see the last bit of line movement there. But yeah, I think Connecticut's the much better team and at home. So I'm going to wait on that one for a second. But yeah, very excited to watch that one. Anything else at the 3 p.m.? I'm not seeing a whole lot. Go ahead.
Just getting back to that comment, if I haven't said it already with him being on, but I just don't cap totals in college basketball very often. So haven't even looked at it. Don't really have a lean. So yeah, I'd say if he's liking the over, absolutely go for it. Yeah, that's just, I don't even look at totals in college basketball anymore. So
yeah, it's so hard. They're 18 and 20-year-old kids. Who knows how they're going to shoot the ball. Moving on, I do have one play I really like at the 3:30 slate, and that is LSU at South Carolina. I love LSU in this game. The spread, I believe, is 5.5. Let me double check that spread.
I believe 7.
Oh, it's 7 now. Okay, it was at 5.5 this morning, which made me love it. 7, I don't love it as much. Basically, thought process though, South Carolina just had a 40-point loss to Auburn. The South Carolina finally got into, I think they were 11th, finally got into the top 11 just to get destroyed by Auburn. Now they're hosting LSU. I believe LSU is like 12-12, about 500. Spread seemed a little low at 5.5, but now it's moving up to 7. That's starting to look a little bit more normal. I think this should probably be closer to 10. But yeah, I don't love it as much. Probably not going to play it anymore at the 7. Yeah, anything on that one? You seem like you like South Carolina quite a bit.
Yeah, I do. I just think with that off that 40-point loss, it's they've probably been losing some sleep over getting their ass handed to them that bad. I think they want to come out and just put that game to rest, come out with a big performance, and do it right back to LSU. So yeah, I'd lean the better team at home off an embarrassing loss.
Yeah. Yeah, again, my whole thought process has changed with that line moving. Askers asked, "What's the amount of time you would give up for $1 million?" Um, that's a great question.
That is.
Can I give up like 10 years, like in my 80s? Because I don't want to
Yeah,
give up any years in my late 20s, early 30s.
right.
If it's like current, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't think I'd do too much.
I wouldn't either. I was gonna say a year, but I don't know. Maybe 6
I
months.
know.
Maybe like the winter.
Because then
I don't
I come out of my stupor a year from now and I see just the Lions Super Bowl parade. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
know. If I
I
could,
don't think I can do
yeah,
it.
if I could give up like the 2 years from birth to 2 years old, or like 2 years from like 75 to 77, sign me up. But um, yeah, at the current age, I probably wouldn't give up too much.
Right.
Can't trust either team. I believe you're talking about South Carolina, LSU. Maybe. Um, I would give up at most 30 seconds. Well, you love life, Asker. That's great. Um, all right, so 3 p.m. Let's move. Nothing left. Anything at 4 p.m. We have a pretty big slate. Kansas, Oklahoma. Guess let's just get into that play. That's our second ranked matchup. Kansas is, I believe, a one. Ooh, move to 3. Wow. Kansas is a 3-point favorite now. This was at 1 point this morning against Oklahoma, number 6 versus number 25. Over under set at 143. Anything on this game? Kansas coming off a disgusting 29-point loss to Texas Tech. Now we're on the road again against a ranked team. Kansas had struggles on the road this year, most recently losing to Texas Tech. I believe they lost to Kansas State. Both were after emotional wins. Not an emotional win hangover spot today, but again, terrible loss. What's your thoughts?
I don't think I can play it, but it'd have to be Kansas. Just again, off the embarrassing loss, 29 points. I mean, you're a top 5 team in the country. You shouldn't be losing by double digits to anybody. But yeah, I mean, Big 12 home teams are their money. So I don't know. Oklahoma probably finds a way to win this game, but I can't play it.
Yeah, I'm seeing Oklahoma on KenPom by 72-71. It is slightly the system, was more the system when it was a 1-point spread. It's starting to become uglier and uglier as the spread keeps going up in favor of Kansas. It's funny how that happens. We like a spread better when it's when it's small, and when it gets more advantageous for us, we jump off it just because
Right.
that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, I honestly would lean Oklahoma, but the line shifting is kind of teetering me off. If you are going to bet that one, I would suggest definitely diving in a little bit more, seeing just how much of the money and bets are coming in on Kansas to shift that line. Because no one's betting on Oklahoma, because why would they? So yeah, don't have a solid play in that game. Again, I would lean Oklahoma just since they're at home. UCF Cincinnati is a decent game. Don't have a play in that one. Kansas. Yeah, Kansas is, they're the much better team. Oklahoma, me and Ethan, I believe, both think are frauds a little bit. I don't think Oklahoma should be in the rankings. We also said was it last week, or either last week or last Getting Technical episode, we said Oklahoma wouldn't be surprised if this team loses a couple in a row and gets knocked out of potentially March Madness or whatever. So, yeah, I'm not super high on Oklahoma. Again, I like this better when it was closer to a pick'em, just because it was an ugly line. But yeah, I do think Kansas ultimately gets it done. This is a great game for them to maybe gain a little confidence on their road struggles. So yeah, I would lean Kansas, I would still lean Oklahoma, but I completely agree with the Kansas play, or the thought process of the Kansas. I just like taking the ugly lines. Ask her again here. If you had to trap yourself, how would you do it? If you could get anything at the time you were trapped, you wouldn't escape. I don't even know how to read that question. If you had to trap yourself, how would you do it so that if you could get anything at the time you are trapped, you wouldn't escape? Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm lost by that one, Asker. Hang on.
Put myself in the ocean with a boat without any gas.
I mean, I guess like in my bed. So if I couldn't escape, at least I'm comfortable. I don't know. In my house, trap myself in my house.
Anything else? I'm not seeing really anything in that 4 p.m. besides Kansas, Oklahoma. What's your last play? Is that later tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
4:30, nothing. 5. I'm seeing nothing.
No.
Illinois, Maryland. I don't mind that game.
Yes.
Do you have a thought process on that one? Well, I'm gonna let you go. I might be betting this one. Might be betting this one heavily.
Again, Maryland fits the system. Maryland's probably the play, but Maryland already beat Illinois at Illinois. So
God damn, I need I need to start looking at teams' recent or games against opponents.
yeah,
Like completely factor that out of it.
and
Yeah, I'm
they
not gonna bet
beat
it
them
anymore.
pretty handily. Beat them by 9, so I guess somewhat handily on the road. I mean,
Was that without
that was
Terrence?
without Cannon.
Okay.
Yep. So can't bet it. Just can't.
Yeah, I'm staying away. Thank you for reminding. See, that's why we get on here. You talk
Yep.
me off of things, and perfect. I do, however, really like Colorado State. I know that's a Mountain West game. Colorado State is hosting Utah State. Utah State's number 1 in the Mountain West by, I believe, 1 game. Colorado State's number 3. Colorado State, this was at 6.5. If it's moved, that could determine everything. It's at 5:30. They're at 5 now. Yeah, now I'm off of it. That was fun lived. Anyways, again,
5.
yeah, they were at 6.5 this morning. That was way too high. Let's be honest. And that's the reason I loved it. Now it's moved down to 5, which is still pretty high, but it's starting to make a little bit more sense. So I'm staying off of that.
I'm seeing 6 on DraftKings.
I'm at 5 on DraftKings at the moment.
Really?
5 at minus 122. So maybe I need to refresh.
I'm seeing that now too. I had to refresh. Well, son of a bitch, because that's my second play, Colorado State.
Was it?
Yeah, I got them at minus 6.
God,
I still like it.
All right.
I don't know
well,
why.
At least I was leaning the right side.
I don't know why it dropped, but I know you and I were both on San Diego State last night. Spinning image of that game. Everything is like literally the complete same. Utah State off 2 straight wins. Now they have Colorado State, who they already beat, with San Diego State on deck, who they lost to. So kind of that revenge look-ahead spot. Colorado State off a loss to San Diego State, lost to Utah State. So they're playing their revenge game now, and they have New Mexico on deck, who they already beat. So no look-ahead spot. I mean, it's literally spinning image. I meant to get my Mountain West record before we filmed today because I think I'm like way up in the Mountain West this year. I'll try to tweet that out if I can find it, but yeah, I like Colorado State. That line movement scares me a little, but
yeah, I mean that's where I love that this morning. The 5 is a little shocking, but yeah, I mean, I've won my last 2 Mountain West games. I've won obviously San Diego State last night. Maybe it's the last 3, but I did take New Mexico 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago when they were an underdog against I forget who were they playing, but they won outright. So I'm starting to see the Mountain West a little better too. But yeah, I love Colorado State in that game. I guess I might wait because I guess that I'll jump on it with you, but I guess I might wait a little bit, see if that line keeps moving down, which makes me hate it. But yeah. Which state would you trade for $5 million? Includes everything. Ohio, hands down. Get that state out of the union.
California.
That's a good one too. California would be a hard number 2. New York would be a hard number 3, but get Ohio out of my life. And Maryland would be 4. Maryland sucks as well. Okay. I like Colorado State. I like that play. Scrolling down, nothing
Kentucky,
really.
Auburn.
What time's that one at? Oh, yes,
6.
6 p.m. Kentucky, Auburn. Um, also have a lean in this game. Kentucky, number 22, at Auburn, number 13. Auburn coming off, again, a massive win against top rank or 11th ranked South Carolina, 40-point win, 101-61. Yes, I had the under in that game. Yes, the under missed by about 40 points. Really liked Auburn in that. Decided to go with the under instead of the spread. Again, that's just my luck. Win by 40. The spread was a high 11. Again, I leaned it, didn't play it. The one play I did have loses. It's just how I'm telling you, it's just how it works. But yeah, Kentucky has shown their struggles mostly at home, which is weird, especially for this college basketball landscape. I am seeing this. What's it at? It was at 8 this morning, 8.5 this morning. What's it at now?
I'm seeing 8.5.
Okay, still at 8.5. You got a lean? I do have a lean. Do you have a lean?
I don't really. Again, it's just hard for me to play Auburn off that huge win. It just feels like it could be a letdown spot. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad spot for either team here other than the potential letdown. Yeah, I can't play it. But I guess I would. I don't even have a lean.
Yeah, I like Kentucky quite a bit at the plus 8.5. Again, Kentucky is just, they're going to be in the tournament. They're going to probably be always in the rankings, but they're just not solid. Like, they're not scary this year. They're not like the Kentuckys we've seen. Honestly, Kentucky's been down for quite a while, let's be honest. And Auburn, again, looks absolutely dominant right now. I think that line's a little too low. Again, Auburn was just a 11.5 point favorite against a higher ranked and debatably better South Carolina team. And now there's just an 8.5 point favorite against Kentucky. I think it's just going to be too easy to jump on Auburn after a dominating win. So I would lean Kentucky. I'm probably not going to play it. Honestly, the overs, it's at 165. I mean, no one has been shown to even come close to stopping Auburn. Kentucky is a very high scoring team as well. This game could be both teams in the 90s. So I would lean the over as well, but that's too high for me to bet in college basketball. But yeah, I would take Kentucky on the spread there, plus 8.5. What else was I doing? Okay, there is another one that I really like, and it's actually a smaller game, but it's Boise State. And it's Boise State. They're hosting Fresno State. Boise State is a whopping 15.5 point favorite today. Let me quickly get the records up for both these teams because that's too high of a spread. That is a lean I have, and again, I'm not probably going to bet it just because there's a lot more better games on. But it is a Mountain West game. We have been seeing the Mountain West decently so far. I'm trying to find the spread. 7:30 p.m. Yeah, still seeing 15.5 points. Fresno State 11-14, 4-8 in the Mountain West, not great. Boise State 16-8. So 5 more wins for Boise State. They are 7-4 in the Mountain West, which is 3 more wins than Fresno. But 15.5 points seems like quite a bit of points there. So I do lean Boise State just simply because the line is so high. But again, probably not going to bet it. Yeah. Anything else before we get into Michigan State here?
Yeah, I looked at that Boise State game. I don't really have a play. Another gross one. I just don't know. I've done pretty well in the Big East until I decided to get involved with DePaul and Georgetown, and I'm just drawn back to DePaul today. There's just a touch of reverse line movement. I'm seeing Providence minus 20 is getting all the public love, and it's dropped from 20 to 19.5. Providence has Xavier on deck, who I believe, they lost to off of winning against St. John's. I don't know. They have Marquette after Xavier. I won't play DePaul, but I don't know. I get drawn into these gross Big East teams.
Yeah, I do. Oh, DePaul's garbage, but I do know Providence, not great in the Big East, but I think they're like 13-1 at home or something crazy like that. Which makes me like DePaul, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me get them real quick.
Oh yeah, they lost to Xavier at home, and that is their look ahead spot.
Yeah, they're 13-2 at home, but they are one of the they're 7-7 in the conference, just makes them 1, 2, 3, 4, tied for sixth with 4 other teams. But yeah, great home record. But yeah, and DePaul's trash. But yeah, I would lean DePaul. Probably not going to get on it just because it's a massive spread.
Yeah.
But I like that. All right, Michigan State. And then we have maybe 1 or 2 more, and then we're going to hop off so we can finalize some bets here. Michigan State. I'm seeing, let me get that. It's at 8 p.m. It's at Michigan, which means Doug McDaniel, whatever his name is playing. I'm seeing Michigan as a 6-point underdog, over under 144. Obviously, I'm a Michigan fan. Ethan is a Michigan State fan. Must win for Michigan State. Honestly, the next couple games are must win for Michigan State if they want to continue their tournament appearance record. Michigan is not even going to make it to the NIT, not even going to make it to the, what's the other one, CBA or whatever, dog shit program. However, I don't know the last time one of these teams have swept each other in the regular season. Michigan State did win that first game at the Breslin. Michigan did go up at halftime. A story that all of us Michigan fans know is the kiss of death. If Michigan goes up at half, it means they're going to lose by 15, which they did. But yeah, what's your thoughts? Try to get as non-biased as possible. Just looking at it as a pure game. What do you got?
So I'll start. I'm probably not betting this game. Just rooting out of fandom. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. So nothing sticks out that's screaming to me to bet it. I'm seeing Michigan getting a little bit of the public side here, like 56%. I think I saw line has gone 6.5 or maybe even 7 down to 6. I think Sparty wins. Going way back to the beginning of the live, I think you could get away with parlaying Sparty and Iowa State in a moneyline parlay. But again, parlaying college basketball is tough. Parlaying a road team against the rival, tough. I wouldn't advise to do that, but I think it does probably ultimately get there. Kind of like Michigan in the first half. I mean, it's very well documented, especially if people are following your Twitter, that Jawan has multiple second half implosions this year, and I mean, a horrible second half team. I actually like the over. You mentioned it. Terrible defense for Michigan. Doug shoots a lot. I think Terrace Reed, is that their bigger guy?
Yep.
I think he could have some success getting some points. Like you said, Michigan doesn't defend the perimeter too well. Michigan State is the best 3-point shooting team since mid-December. And actually, they're 35th in the country right now, or last I checked, I think 2 days ago. And that's with starting their season, I think 0 for 24 or 1 for 24 in the first game of the season. So they've really crawled back from the perimeter. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would lean over Michigan first half, Michigan State money line.
Yeah, I'm seeing Connect over here has DePaul Providence on the over. Just better hope DePaul stays in it. Providence will probably score 80 plus. Just hope DePaul doesn't score 40. Then he does have Michigan State as well. As a Michigan fan, this is the first time, in my opinion, Michigan they've gotten the line right in Michigan. They've been overjuiced by Vegas for a majority of this year, and I just don't really understand it. They're not good, and Vegas still was giving them some points. Finally, after a bad Purdue loss, a bad Illinois loss, a bad Nebraska loss, they finally are a 6-point underdog at home, which makes sense against Michigan State. I know people might be seeing that line and be like, wow, Michigan State unranked. Michigan's record isn't great, but Michigan State's is okay. 6 points on the road, that's quite a bit. No, that's probably pretty accurate. Michigan is that bad. I know they do have Doug playing at home games, which is a scoring and better for them for the scoring offense, but he also turns the ball over like 6 times a game. So, which increases the pace of play. We know how much Michigan State loves to run the ball or rush the ball up the court. So I like the over in this. The one thing that's keeping me off Michigan State is going back to that split of these two teams' rivalry games. I can't remember the last time they've swept a regular season game. regular season series. It might have been a couple years ago, and I think honestly it was Michigan back when Michigan was loaded with teams. But even then, I think Michigan split the series, and I know Michigan State had a couple good teams back then, but I just don't. These teams always, whatever team's at home, just seems to win it. So for that reason, I'm going to stay away from the spread. I might be getting involved in the over here, simply because it's going to be a fast-paced play. Michigan's defense is trash. Michigan State's finally starting to score and figure it out. And I think Michigan will do just enough to stay in this game and keep it maybe into a fouling situation come down to the second half. So I like the over. I would lean Michigan at the +6, and I hate it, but that's where I'd lean. Probably not going to get involved. Again, I always bet Michigan games, so I'm going to get involved on something. I can't tell you how much money I've lost on this team, but yeah, excited to watch. I'll probably end up rooting for Michigan State just because I want Juwan out of there. But yeah, I'm excited to watch. Hopefully they just don't get dick slapped. Parlay Michigan State, Creighton, Duke, and Ole Miss. Couple scary games in there. Michigan State, I like it. On the road, scary. Creighton, I'm pretty high on Butler. Duke, I'm pretty high on Florida State. And then Ole Miss, I don't even know who Ole Miss is playing.
I think they're playing.
Ole Miss is playing Missouri at home. I like Ole Miss, honestly, is the best one, but Ole Miss is also minus 800 on the money line. I think that's the only safe one, to be honest. With that being said, it's probably going to be a sweat-free parlay win. But yeah, I just have a hard time parlaying college basketball, especially road teams. There's 3 road teams in there. Home court advantage is nuts in college basketball. I don't understand it, but it's an advantage that I've never seen before in any sport other than college basketball.
I feel like Florida State might be the
dog of the day.
Breaker. Yeah, I think so.
I hope it's Butler, to be honest, but
yeah. Michigan plus 3.5 first half. I'm going to call 35-32 Michigan up at halftime.
Yeah, I'm a Michigan fan. I've watched every single game. The difference is Michigan State is not Purdue. Michigan State is not Illinois. And then Michigan did lose bad to Nebraska, but it was at Nebraska. Last time Michigan was at home, they actually beat number 10 Wisconsin. So yes, Michigan's bad. Yes, Michigan State is much better. But again, home court is weird, and Michigan's home court doesn't really matter because I think they're like 4-8 at home, which is the worst and one of the worst in all Power 5 schools. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to compare Michigan's bad losses when they were on the road to Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska. Like, it's hard to compare that to a home game.
Also Saturday night. And with how Michigan's season has gone, this is like their last game they really probably give a damn about.
Right. And we saw them get up for Wisconsin. We'd all know the Michigan-Wisconsin drama. I think that was 2 years ago with the punches thrown, the animosity between both head coaches, both coaching staffs. Michigan came out victorious at home. I don't know. Yeah, Michigan has, I guess they travel to Ohio State. That's a game they'd probably be looking at. They're going to get slapped by Purdue. Probably lose to Northwestern on the road. Probably lose to Rutgers on the road. Might have a revenge spot against Nebraska, but yeah, this is kind of it for Michigan. So I would be extremely cautious taking a Michigan State money line. I do think it's probably going to hit, but again, I parlaying that many road teams is scary to me. But again, don't take my advice on worst bets. It'll probably be a no sweat bet. I would say just tail with a little caution. Don't throw a massive amount on that. Think it's a for sure lock. But yeah, I'll stop there. Again, I will have a play in this game as well, so I will be tweeting out a play. I also, again, will have a play in that UConn Marquette game. So a couple more plays coming from me. I know there's 1 or 2 more games I wanted to get into real quick, but we got to get off in like 3 minutes so we can finalize our bets here. Anything else from you?
I don't think so. I'm going to see how the money moves on Nevada UNLV, the late night special Mountain West matchup. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't handicap the Pac-12 anymore because it's a dog shit conference outside of Arizona. So that kind of takes a lot of the night games out, as well as the WAC. Is that what Gonzaga's in?
Yeah, the WCC.
WCC, yeah. Yeah, that's tough to handicap that one too with the shit teams in that conference. So yeah, it takes a lot of the night games out for me.
Yeah, I'm leaning Colorado at USC. That's the only one I might be messing with. Hopefully, I don't even have to touch it. Hopefully, I'm up a couple units before that 10 p.m. game, so I don't even have to mess with that. Last comment here: they're rivals, so Michigan State knows a gym. Yeah, but I think Michigan State's lost the last 5 at the Chrysler Center, so they might know it. But again, I can't reiterate: road teams struggle in college basketball. Yeah, good luck, brother. Thank you for commenting as well and hopping on. We really appreciate it.
Yes,
Quick
thank you.
recap here. I got my one play is Butler at the +3. I will be playing Georgia on the spread. I will be small sprinkle on Florida State on the spread. I most likely will be involved in both Iowa, Colorado State, and Oklahoma State. And then I will have a play in that Michigan State game. Again, that was a lot I just threw at you. I will be tweeting those out. Again, my Twitter is worst bets. And then I'll tweet those out with my official plays. And then Ethan, I think you have 2 plays as well.
Yeah, official plays that are already locked and loaded. Oklahoma State +6, Colorado State -6, and then a couple more games I'll almost certainly be on. Iowa money line, I'll more than likely play, or +1.5, whatever that line's at. If I can get points, I'll take it. If I have to lay points, I'll money line them. And Georgia +4, and then still leaning Florida State +5.5. We're gonna see how the first couple of games are going by the time that game tips off. But yeah, same thing. Follow me on Twitter at eBambers26 right below. We'll tweet out all those plays. And then I have not looked into the NHL yet, but I'll look into that. I've been dog shit in the NHL, so honestly, you might be better off fading my plays. I literally think I've won one since like mid-January. I haven't bet that many, but not winning them. And then what do we have for NBA? Do we have like just the skills competition stuff
Yeah,
tonight?
there's the dunk contest tonight and the 3-point contest. I'm sure there's some skill contests as well. But I know dunk and 3-pointer tonight.
Might mess around with that. Sabrina's probably gonna beat Steph because it's a horrible look for women's basketball if she doesn't. So I think that's
Does she have an advantage at all?
I don't think.
Besides a smaller ball and a bigger basket?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but she's +200. I think it's a bad look if Steph destroys her. So
That's true. Deep Paint, last comment, did say he likes UNLV. I lean with that one as well. I like UNLV in that game. I think, did you say that as well, Ethan?
I can't remember now which way I was leaning, but I think it was UNLV.
Okay.
That's one I'm gonna have to. I'll tweet out if I have a play, but yeah, I'm gonna see how the money moves that one. Also, the Paint Connect. If you're new here, we do have college basketball shows coming out midweek as well. We don't go live; we pre-record. Usually have one every Tuesday, and then just depending on the slate of games, might have one Thursday. One just depends on what type of games are being played which days. So if you enjoyed the content today, be sure to check those out. Throw us a sub. We really appreciate it, and we really thank you for being here and for your interaction today. And good luck.
Yeah, good luck. And if you're not subscribed already, make sure you do click that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And again, yeah, thank you for hopping on. Good luck today on all your bets. Ethan, good luck today as well. I know we'll be in contact. And again, make sure you do follow our Twitters for our official plays because those will be posted out almost right after this. So that's all I got, boys. Ethan, anything?
That's it. Let's have a profitable day.
Let's have a profitable day. Let's have a better Saturday than last. Good luck, everyone. Good luck on your bets. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you live on Monday. See you guys.
Go green.